In the heart of Africa, where the land stretches out into dense forests and towering mountains, there exists a creature so elusive and majestic that it captured the imagination of the world for centuries. This is the story of the mountain gorilla, a species that has lived in isolation for millennia, protected by the rugged terrains of the Virunga Mountains, and how it came to be a symbol of resilience, survival, and conservation. The tale begins long before humans knew of their existence. Around 2 million years ago, in the thick, mist-covered forests that now straddle the borders of Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, a branch of gorillas began to diverge. These ancestors of the mountain gorillas adapted to the cooler, high-altitude climates of the Virunga Mountains. Over time, they became distinctly different from their lowland relatives, their bodies stockier and more robust to withstand the cold. Their lives, hidden among the dense foliage, continued in relative secrecy, undisturbed by the outside world. But as the 20th century dawned, that secrecy would end. In 1902, a German explorer named Karl Ekeli ventured into the forests of the Virunga Mountains. He came face to face with a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. Large, powerful, and gentle in its own way, the mountain gorilla left a lasting impression on him. His discovery brought the species to the attention of the world for the first time. Yet, despite this newfound recognition, the mountain gorilla remained a mystery to most people, living deep within the jungles, shielded from the threats that would soon rise against it. As the years passed, the forces of human encroachment began to take a toll on the mountain gorillas. The dense forests of the Virunga region were slowly being cleared to make way for agricultural fields. Villages expanded, and the borders between human settlements and gorilla territory became increasingly blurred. Along with the loss of habitat came the scourge of poaching. The mountain gorillas were hunted for their meat, and their infants were captured and sold to zoos around the world. The very existence of these magnificent creatures was at risk. It was during this time of peril that an American primatologist, Dian Fossey, arrived in Rwanda in the late 1960s. Driven by a passion for wildlife and an enduring fascination with gorillas, Fossey began her work in the Volcanoes National Park. Her mission was clear: to study the mountain gorillas in their natural habitat and, most importantly, to protect them from the growing threats of poaching and human intrusion. Armed with nothing but her courage, Fossey spent years in the heart of the jungle, slowly earning the trust of the gorillas she studied. She was determined to ensure that the world would not lose these creatures, that their beauty would not fade into history. Fossey's work was revolutionary. Her efforts led to a deeper understanding of gorilla behavior, social structures, and communication. Yet, even as her studies advanced, the fight to protect the gorillas became more dangerous. Poachers, feeling threatened by Fossey's efforts, began to retaliate. The tension between conservationists and those who sought to exploit the gorillas reached a breaking point, and in 1985, the world was shocked by the news of Fossey's tragic death. Her murder remains unsolved, but the legacy of her work and the protection of the mountain gorillas continued. The world's attention was now firmly focused on the plight of the mountain gorilla. Efforts to protect the species intensified. National parks were expanded, and dedicated anti-poaching units were established to safeguard the gorillas from further harm. Local communities, once seen as part of the problem, were now invited to be part of the solution. It was recognized that the future of the mountain gorillas was intrinsically tied to the future of the people living in the region. Ecotourism became a key strategy, providing a way for local communities to earn a living while helping protect the gorillas. With the right balance, both the gorillas and the people could thrive together. As the years went on, the mountain gorilla population began to slowly recover. From the brink of extinction in the 1980s, when fewer than 250 individuals remained, the gorillas now numbered over 1,000. This recovery was a testament to the relentless efforts of conservationists, governments, and local communities working hand in hand. The mountain gorilla had become a symbol of hope and determination, proof that with enough dedication, even the most endangered species could be brought back from the edge of extinction. But the journey was far from over. The challenges faced by the mountain gorillas were far-reaching. While poaching had been reduced, the species still faced threats from disease, particularly diseases transmitted by humans and livestock. Habitat loss remained a concern, as human populations continued to grow in the region. And in recent years, the effects of climate change began to pose new risks, as changing weather patterns affected the fragile ecosystems the gorillas depended on. The fight to protect the mountain gorillas was not won, but the battle was being fought with renewed vigor. Today, the mountain gorilla is no longer just a symbol of conservation, it is a living testament to the power of collective action. Gorilla trekking, where tourists venture into the forests to observe the gorillas in their natural habitat, has become a major source of funding for conservation efforts. The revenue generated by tourism is reinvested into protecting the gorillas, their habitat, and the surrounding communities. The gorillas, in turn, have become a bridge between people and nature, fostering a sense of pride and stewardship in the local populations. As the sun sets over the Virunga Mountains, casting a golden hue over the mist-covered peaks, the mountain gorillas continue their quiet existence. In the shadow of the towering trees, families of gorillas go about their lives, unaware of the long journey they have taken from the brink of extinction to a future filled with hope. If you enjoyed this documentary, give it a like, share it with someone who loves endangered animals, and subscribe our channel Wild Hope for more interesting content. Thank you.